Welcome to Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Riley.
And if you cannot tell, I'm not as energetic as I usually am. The reason is, Philadelphia Phillies, you stink. You cause me pain. I'm depressed. I'm angry. I say I'm pissed, because I mean it. Rob Thompson.
Hey, this is family-friendly programming here.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know what you expected. They're a Philadelphia team. I know I picked them once the Dodgers and the Braves were gone. I was like, oh, well, I guess the Phillies just got to bye. I was wrong.
You jinxed us.
A little wrong. Yeah, might be my fault.
Maybe.
You know, I told everybody yesterday, because they were like, oh, you're a Phillies fan. You must think they're going to win. I'm like, I'm expecting them to lose. And yet I was still angry after the game was over. You know why? Because Rob Thompson cost us the whole series in Game 4. Nobody wants to hear it, but in Game 4, instead of starting the genius move was to start Walker. If you didn't want to start Walker, why not go with Lorenzen? Instead, he started some young kid who nobody had heard of, who was okay in the month of September, and you're going to put his first career postseason start on the road in Arizona in a must-win game. What is the logic?
I'd back it up even further. I think he lost this series in Game 2 when they had a 10-0 lead, and he still used Hoffman and Kerkering, because Kerkering was useless from that point on. Like, I don't know what it was, but like he got hit hard every other time he came out, or couldn't throw strikes. Like I thought he had the yips when he was pitching in Arizona because he just could not throw a strike. And I think that it was one of those situations where, and this is the trouble with when you trust your bullpen for so many outs in a game. Like when you don't get length from your starters, is in a series like this where it goes 7 games, the middle of your order might see my best reliever 7 times. And so the more you see somebody, the better the chances you are of hitting him. And so I think that he really dropped the ball there. That was another spot where like they had a comfortable lead. It wasn't 10-0 till late, but like they were up 4 or 5, 6-0. That should have been a spot where, okay, Lorenzen, go eat me some innings.
Yeah.
Or Walker, go eat me some innings. You haven't pitched in a while. Go give me 5 or 6, like finish this game for me. And then your bullpen's well rested and you're really set up well moving forward. But
And the other thing that really made me angry was Rob Thompson refuses to make adjustments. All postseason, it was apparent. Alec Bohm can't hit. Alec Bohm can't hit. Why is he batting 4th?
he hit a home run yesterday.
He had his first hit of the entire
He's
series.
like
yesterday.
the only one that did anything.
I think he's the first guy in history to ever do the ring me celebration and then lose
And
the
then
same
lose. Yeah.
game. Like,
He also, I knew after game, the last game, not the one that they, lost the series, but the game before that, I knew that they probably weren't going to win once they announced that the lineup was staying the same. Once they said the lineup was staying the same for Game 7 and it was for Game 6, I knew it was over.
and I'm always somebody that says I don't like analytics, I like man-analytics. But I need a little bit of analytics. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
That should be on a t-shirt. That's like my analytics.
All right. Well, let me say it then. Pause. But
Too late now.
But the Phillies, analytics are useful sometimes. What should never happen is you go fully dependent on analytics. That's when you start to fail. But you got to use them a little bit because analytics showed you the entire time. Bohm should not be cleanup. I don't think Bohm should be cleanup on a high school team. The dude's not good at hitting right now. He has no self-confidence. It was evident. He was our worst hitter in the entire series, and we were batting him where? At 4. Castellanos, you were great in the divisional round series, buddy. What happened? Where'd you go? Because I saw Liam at Game 7, and then you wanted to pull this hack off on the last inning. Hold up, guys. I got to go put tar on my bat. What do you do? Hit it right up the right field. You flipping bum. Give your money back. Good Lord. And then Trey Turner. Don't get me even started on Trey Turner. Dude gets $300 million. Oh, we got to give him a standing ovation to get going. Hey, we were better without you. I want Segura back. At least he could get me a clutch hit when it needed to. We didn't pay you to hit home runs. We paid you to get on base. Harper, you know what? At least you showed up when we needed you. No, wait. No, you didn't. You came up 4 feet short. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I'm just ranting. I'm a little angry.
I was really disappointed when that last inning, the Phillies had 7, 8, 9 coming up. Like, I wanted to see that closer have to go through Schwarber and Harper one more time.
Just one hit. Just get on base. And they all three swung for the fences. Like, guys, we're down by 2. I don't need you to hit a home run.
That's
Well, Marsh hit his ball well. Like, he actually did put a good swing on the ball. He just hit it, like, too far. He had too much air. Hit it too far. But the other two, well, Cave struck out, right?
No, Cave hit it right to
Or, yeah,
him. He
popped
hit it
out
right to him.
field. And Castellanos hit probably the weakest ball of the inning.
Because he was trying his little sweet one-handed follow through. Like, dude, I don't need pretty right now. I need efficient.
it almost seemed like for at least I want to say most of the playoffs, but it definitely could see it for this one that the Phillies went out there with the mentality we're just going to hit home runs. That seemed like that's all they wanted to do because the games that they won they hit 3 or 4 home runs, but the games that they didn't win still hit 2 home runs or whatever, and then nobody else hit anything.
What it seemed to me was after Game 2, when they won that game 10-0, they kind of went through the rest of the series with the mentality of, oh, Arizona's going to lie down. We won this series. We already got our 2 at home. And then Arizona punched them back, and Philly couldn't. They got punched in the mouth. They didn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
Like
It almost seems like the manager, like they didn't put down the pride after they lost Game 6. Like they should have just swallowed the pride and changed something and figured out how to win.
I'm not saying I want Rob Thompson fired because he has given us 2 of the most productive years the Phillies have had since 08, 09, 10. But I will say this: something's got to change. I don't want him fired, but can we get somebody in here that's at least going to change his thinking a little bit? Because he just throws pitchers out there, he doesn't go in there with a game plan. Like, he'll put a righty out there versus 3 lefties coming, not 3 lefties, 3 lefties coming right up. Like, come on, give me a lefty.
Well, there's another thing to be said for sometimes you dance with, what's the saying? Dance with the girl you came with or whatever. Like, dance with the ones that got you here. And so that's, to me, kind of bomb. Like, Bone's been their cleanup hitter for a long time, like most of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I think he was just kind of thinking like, okay, this is my guy. I'm gonna believe in you, and hopefully you're gonna reward me for it. And it ended up not rewarding him for it. But like, there is something to be said for like trusting your guy. But if you look over in the American League Series, Bruce Bochy, who is a World Series champion manager. Multiple times, and multiple times I think he's won without the best team too, and like he made changes based on what was going on. Like Mitch Garver, he was batting cleanup, and then he was struggling, and then he was batting 8th, and then he came up with some big hits. And so sometimes you do have to react to what's going on, but it's like it's kind of one of those darn if you do, darn if you don't. And Philly, I was just watching this thinking like Philly's gonna Philly. The Eagles. I wanted the Eagles to lose, I'll be honest, in the last Super Bowl.
We all
just
did.
because, I'm pro Pat Mahomes. I want him to win 1,000 MVP. Like, I want Pat Mahomes to be the without a doubt. Like, stop talking about Brady. I want you to talk about Mahomes because he's more talented and all that. But, like, the Eagles were a better team. Actually, I think they played better football than the Chiefs for most of the game. It was just those couple, like, little careless mistakes by who was their best player most of the season, Jalen Hurts. And
Best Hail Mary of all time.
then you've got the Sixers who just they were up 3-2, right? On the Celtics. And then James Harden just stopped playing basketball and again, like we don't even need to go there with James Harden. Like
We'll get there.
I hope
We'll
James
get there.
Harden never steps on another court. But like
Sounds like he's coming back soon.
yeah, he reported to the team today. Good for him. Who cares? But the Philly, man, like
They're gonna
that's
Philly.
what they do. And
They
then-
don't win. Do you know that was the first Game 7 in Philadelphia Phillies history?
Yeah.
And of course
almost
they
hard to believe.
lost.
They lost it at home. But I also kind of felt like the Phillies got a little too overconfident. Like
Arrogant,
I felt like they got a
yes.
little too high on their horses because they were talking about how like this home games in Philly in the playoffs are something different. Well, I mean, yeah, like you got a crazy crowd, but
Do something about it.
Yeah,
like,
the home
We
game.
can only do so much as a fan.
the crowd does not get to hit the baseball for you. It doesn't get to throw the ball for you.
And Philly's not going to cheer when you go up there and just hit fly balls and get out.
But and tell me if I'm wrong. As mad as Philadelphians are today and Phillies fans are today, you wonder who was more angry about last night?
MLB.
Major League Baseball.
Yep.
Why is that? Because I don't know about you. I'm not watching the World Series.
No, I am. I just want to watch the dumpster fire.
I want to watch the Rangers win. I'm just hoping the Rangers win because I like the Rangers.
Yeah, I want the Rangers to win because they're rocking Creed before and after games.
Oh, yeah.
Like Creed is the soundtrack to their season. Songs about.
Hey, and have you seen what happened? So the Rangers played Creed. They've started to win. Vikings are starting to play Creed. They beat the Niners. I mean, maybe teams need to start playing Creed before these games, guys. But as much as I'm not even going to get into the World Series because I don't know about y'all, I really don't care. I just want the Rangers to win because
I also said the Rangers will win, but I said I'm thinking it's going to a Game 7.
I think the Rangers are going to win in 4.
I do too. I don't think this series.
I keep underestimating the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I was about to say
I'm going to
that.
do it one more time.
But can I say one thing? And this was evident.
Like that dude in the
Astros
Suns game when he punched the dude in the face. He was like, Suns.
You know what's the stupidest thing in baseball? Unwritten rules. Everybody on the Astros bench got angry when Garcia, that's his name, right? Garcia hit the home run and he pimped around the bases. Whoop-de-doo, he hit the biggest home run of his life. What's the problem with it?
Here's my thing. No problem that he did it. No problem that he got hit for it. Because show your emotion means show your emotion, no matter what it means. Like, if your emotion is you're flipping your bat 1,000 feet in the air, okay, cool. Now you got to hit next time. And if you get hit, fine, take your base. Because then that's the pitcher's turn to show his emotion. And if he wants to hit you, then fine, take your base.
The pitcher,
you want to get back at him, steal all the way to third.
No. The pitcher, what the pitcher should do is learn not to pitch. Don't hit him. Pitch to him.
No.
Don't let him hit a home run. Strike him out.
No.
Be a man about it.
No, it's a mental game.
That's a disrespect.
It's a mental game.
No. Disrespect is you gave him a fastball to hit. He's going to send you over to right
No,
field.
you're disrespecting that guy by doing that.
It's disrespect all the way around. The pitcher throws disrespect, the batter gives the disrespect back, and then the pitcher has to decide what he wants to do with it.
Now, of course, this could be how I feel because I just can't stand the Astros, and I'm just happy anything.
Yeah.
going to
I'll give you that one.
I mean,
Yeah, I hate the Astros more than any. Like, the Astros are a team that, like... Never mind, I'm not going to go as far as I was going to go. I'll tell you guys later, but I don't want this recorded. I don't want anything good to happen for the Astros. Like, I would be fine if they went 0-162. But, like, I also think that it's always the guys that show the most emotion to hit the home runs that cry the most when they get hit.
yeah.
Like, I'm cool if you want to show your emotion. Enjoy it. Have fun. Just know that the other guy might not like it, and he's going to show his emotion too. And so if you don't want somebody to show that emotion to you, don't do it to them.
I think showboating has a spot in sports. I think it will always have a spot in sports because if you're gonna play better than the other team or the other person that you're going after, you should be able to rub it in their face too.
I mean, I'm not saying this just as a Phillies fan, but the Phillies were the most entertaining team to watch in the postseason. Why? Because they always had emotion behind what they were doing. And ultimately, it cost them because they got a little too arrogant in the end. But they were must-watch baseball because any second they could hit a home run and you'd see the whole building pop. You didn't get that if you take that out. And the Astros, everybody was like, Altuve hit the home run, and look, now he's on the tablet. You know, it was kind of like he hit a home run, and his dad said, here, you can now get some screen time. But
Yeah, I think Altuve took steroids.
you know, I was thinking this.
Let's think about this here. This is the smallest dude in the sport, okay? And all of a sudden, after like his first few years in the career, then all of a sudden he's hitting home runs. And like, oh yeah, he trained really hard, he got stronger. Yeah, so did Barry Bonds. So did Alex Rodriguez.
Barry Bonds
so
was
did
clean.
Sammy Sosa. So did Mark McGwire. All those guys worked really hard and they got stronger. They took steroids. Like, why do we think that there's like no question that Altuve took them? Because like you can't look at A-Rod and say that dude took steroids. His like body never really changed a whole lot, but he got stronger. And you can also look at Melky Cabrera, who was a Yankee farmhand that they never should have traded because the dude could just flat out hit from day one. But he eventually got popped with steroids when he was on the Giants, and he was batting like 350 or something crazy. And once he came back from the steroids or from the suspension, and Matt, like assuming he's not on them anymore, he still hit just as good. So, like, it's not like the results just go away once you stop taking steroids. Like, you still got that benefit. So, like, I think Altuve.
Now, do you want to hear what I
This
was
don't like
hilarious.
Altuve. I hate Altuve.
Did you see what the Astros were saying after they lost Game 7? We've been saying we don't like the batting line in this stadium for a while. They got to change it from where the pitching mound stands. It's hard to hit a baseball. And I'm like, oh no, it's hard to hit a baseball when there's not a trash can beating in the
It
background.
sure wasn't hard for the Rangers.
That's also what
Was it hard for Adonis Garcia?
And was I the only one when Altuve hit that home run? I was like, "Hey, take your shirt off. We got to see if there's a wire there." Because
Yeah, I thought. What I did like about it is Altuve doesn't like slam his chest and just like not bat flipping. Puts his head down like he's been there before. And he runs around.
And now he's going to be right where I'm at on my couch.
That's true. But it really also goes to show, like, it made me think of the greatness of the Derek Jeter Yankees. Like, those guys just, like, went about things the right way. And, like, I get, like, everybody wants baseball to be fun. And, like, something that always bothers me is, like, these teams that have the home run celebrations in the dugout. Like, you know, the Orioles have their gong bong. That's what they called it at first. Then they turned into the Homer hose or whatever it was. Whatever. And then you got the Angels. The Angels have some stupid looking samurai helmet.
Yep.
The Blue Jays have some stupid jacket that they put on. You know what all these teams have in common?
They're
not playing anymore. And as long as I can remember, I never remember the Yankees, like the Derek Jeter Yankees, the world champion Yankees doing that. They never had any of that stuff. Because the only thing that mattered to them was winning and doing things the right way.
And to that point, it's always in sports, though. The greatest dynasties are always what? The quote-unquote boring teams. Remember?
The Patriots.
Hey, they always said...
There's nothing exciting about them until they had the best offense ever and lost.
They're boring. And then you know what they responded with the year after that? After Lane Johnson called them boring, they're like, no. Winning is fun.
True.
We only want to win. We're not worried about having fun going 0-16. Which, they're true. But anyway... There's baseball. I'll be honest with you. We might talk baseball after the World Series if we watch it. I don't know if we'll talk about it again. We might
I'll watch highlights. I'll check the box score, but I'm not gonna.
We might have a quick recap on it. We might save the talk till the Yankees do something flashy in free agency.
Yeah, Cody Bellinger, Yamamoto, and the trade for Juan Soto. I want it all.
Anyway, we're gonna go from.
They did contact the Padres already about Juan Soto.
So we're gonna go from Yankees fans' favorite sport in baseball to now Yankees fans' other favorite team, the LA Lakers. So
I don't even like the Lakers.
You're
Dude, my favorite part about the Lakers is LeBron getting crossed by Reggie Jackson.
Oh, that was funny. But you know what?
LeBron's like 7.
I just wanted to say the Lakers just because, you know, most Yankees fans are Lakers fans and Cowboy fans. It's kind of weird how they're all clumped. But let's just talk about the NBA. So it's back.
It is back.
Tonight's Wembanyama's debut.
Who cares?
The only game I'm really wanting to watch just to see how the kid performs. I'm calling him a kid. He's 10 days older than me, so
He's also massive.
7'4". He's not massive. He's just
No, he's massive.
he's gonna have injury
He's
problems.
gonna
Like,
get bullied tonight.
who's he?
Welcome to the game, Rook.
He's going? He should dominate tonight.
Who they playing?
Mavericks. They have no big man. He should dominate tonight.
Nah, Kyrie's probably gonna take him one.
They got Dwight Powell, don't they?
And can I ask you a question? So Kyrie, everybody's mad because Kenyon Martin came out and said Kyrie Irving's the most talented player on the Mavericks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more talented than Luka. You could make the argument Kyrie's the most talented one-on-one player in the entire league.
Luka has to put more dedication into being good. Like, you can tell that he puts in work to be good.
So we'll do some finals predictions, but before I get into anything, Anthony Davis last night made me so angry. First half, Anthony Davis, 17 points, 1 rebound. One rebound. 6'10", 1 rebound.
I would even argue that he might be 7 foot and just lying.
And then do you want to know what Anthony Davis' final stat line was after he played 18 more minutes in the second half? 17 points and 1 rebound. You know what I'm going to say? You know what's more consistent than Anthony Davis and Colin Cowherd? I got to say, this is credit to you because you were right about this. A McDonald's ice cream machine is more consistent than Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And Lakers never should have took him from the Pelicans, man. I'm just saying.
Okay, they want a ring out of that. Don't say bubble.
That's a bubble ring.
The hardest championship of all time.
The Mavericks were, or not the Mavericks, the Heat were in that thing, and that team was terrible.
Who was in the finals last year?
The Heat. That team's not very
Didn't they
good.
get smoked?
Yeah. They got worked. They never had a chance.
Who'd the Lakers beat in the Western Conference Finals that year?
I don't remember. Nobody cared.
Nuggets.
Nobody was watching. It was the bubble.
I was
We
watching.
were all just hoping we didn't die.
You were just happy LeBron would get one more ring.
I can't even say I was watching. We were at Camp
I was just
Coleman
trying to
for
keep
last-
6 feet away from everybody and keep my mask on and wash my hands as often as possible.
He must have got his vaccine last week too.
You can't say that. We're going to get demonetized.
True.
It's okay.
Anyway, so we're gonna make
We don't have
this.
to worry about that.
We'll make this discussion quick though. So early, really, very, very, very
Very early.
Finals predictions. Riley, who you got?
I got I actually sat and thought about this one, because the West is very tough, but I got the Boston Celtics coming out of the East just because they made some moves that are pretty surprising, and I think that could put them over the top of the Sixers. And I think that the Nuggets are coming out of the West.
Did you just say the Sixers?
Yeah, because I don't think there's much more competition other than the Bucks, but there's no depth on that team.
I'm sorry.
Road to the finals goes through Joel. King Joel.
Oh,
Joel Hulu has live sports Embiid.
breaking news. The Sixers have been eliminated from the playoffs. Joel Embiid has hurt his knee and will miss Game 7.
I don't know. I just don't.
Shocker.
Through it.
Oh.
Barely.
Everybody who was in the East went to the West, and the only person who came from the West to the East was Damian Lillard, and he's like 35.
They'll be good, though. So the Bucks are going to be a good team. The thing I'll say is, the Bucks are the second best team in the East. Sixers, I'll make the argument. Sixers aren't even top 3. I don't believe in them. I don't trust them. They're going to trade Harden for a deal that he's not worth.
Christian, you say this every year, and they land the number 1 or number 2 spot in the Eastern
They have
Conference.
a real coach now, and they've got 2 stars.
Hey, how many
One of them
conference
a
appearances
superstar.
did the Sixers have in the last?
They had Doc Rivers. It doesn't count.
Before that, they had Bruce Brown.
Doesn't count.
Before that, who'd they have?
Dude, I don't even know.
Nobody even knows. But when last time,
You know
last
what's
time
one
they had a real
constant?
coach. Last time they had a real coach, they were in the finals with Allen Iverson playing by himself with a bunch of truck drivers.
In the least. All he beat was Ray Allen.
He was stomping all over Ty Lue. As they're getting beat, by the way.
Game 1, 2001 was the greatest game in Sixers history. Games 2 through 5.
Hey, if the NBA had called things properly, Shaq would have fouled out of all those games because he just manhandled Mutombo.
He was playing man
If
ball.
Mutombo wasn't like 75
Yeah,
years old. in
Mutombo
that
wasn't.
series.
Ancient.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. You never even let him pick his West team.
I'm sorry. He said the Sixers. It was laughable.
Okay, so Celtics.
No, I got the Sixers coming out because I think their only competition is the Sixers.
You have the Sixers coming out of
Celtics.
No, the Celtics coming out.
okay.
No. I have the Celtics coming out. I have the Nuggets coming out of the West. If they can stay healthy. I know Jamal Murray was healthy last season. That's why he's giving me the confidence to say it. There's nobody else. I don't think the Suns are going to succeed because the last super team that Kevin Durant was on didn't succeed.
He just built the Nets West. It's the
Exactly. The Warriors are running a small ball lineup. I think Wembanyama's going to be injury prone, so I don't see San Antonio going. The only other team that I will say has a chance is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes!
Because Chet Holmgren is healthy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best guards in the league right
By
now.
the end of the year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be viewed as the best point guard in
I could see it.
basketball.
I could see it.
He's going to win MVP. I'm calling it now. I'm ready to place a bet on that.
The only reason that I do take the Nuggets over the Thunder is because Jokic is bigger than Holmgren is, and I could see him bodying him up if he needs to.
Well, the thing I will say, I won't say who I have the finals yet, but I will say Jokic looked great last night. Caleb, how was your fantasy performance by that? I'm going to ask that.
Looking a strong start. LeBron and Jokic.
Yeah, I figure.
Too bad they don't take points away from
So
you.
by the end of the year, you're going to be Jokic's number 1 supporter if he wins a championship in fantasy?
That's true. I think so, yeah.
you ready?
I had the number 1 pick, and I was like, I really want to take Embiid here because, Embiid's going to put up a lot of really nice numbers, and, I'm going to want to watch him and root for him anyway. So it'd be cool to have that on my fantasy team. But I was like, I cannot, not take Jokic. Knowing how much more durable Jokic has been.
Oh, so Jokic is more all around.
Yeah, and he does so much.
So Embiid or Jokic?
Embiid. Fantasy-wise, I got to go Jokic because he contributes to different categories.
How many championships Embiid got?
How many Murrays has he played with?
Can we hang on?
How many Michael
Harden?
Porter Juniors has he played with? How many Aaron Gordons has he played with?
Hey, Tobias Harris.
How many Marcus Morrises has he played with? Not
Crumble.
Marcus Morris, Monty Morris.
PJ Tucker.
Point guard.
Speaking of anyway,
I don't
go
want
ahead.
Caleb Williams.
Nuggets, Celtics.
Nuggets, Celtics.
All right.
Me or you?
You.
Me?
Yep.
Okay, well, I was honestly going to have the exact same pick, so I guess I'm going to change it just for the heck of it. Sixers. Sixers. Once they get rid of James Harden and find a better fit that actually cares about winning basketball games, and once Tyrese Maxey takes that next step into becoming a superstar guard, you're going to see the Sixers in the finals against Phoenix. Let's tear it all up. I was going to say Nuggets and
Interesting.
Celtics because I feel like those are kind of safer picks. And I just still, like, no matter what the Heat do, I will never respect them because I feel like their talent is, like, if you're talking about NBA 2K ratings, I feel like the Heat are, like, at 80.
They are. They just practice harder. They just practice harder.
They just practice, and they play harder, and they just win games, but there's just nothing sexy about it. So I'm saying Sixers and, who'd I say?
Phoenix.
And Phoenix. KD's the best scorer.
My only problem with Phoenix is they don't have DeAndre Ayton anymore. Yeah.
So that's going to be a problem. But Jamal Murray's probably going to get hurt. And the Lakers' best player is 1,000 years old. And Anthony Davis is a fraud. So
Caleb, what were we just saying in the baseball discussion? Philly's going to what?
I didn't say the Sixers were going to win. I said they're going to be in there.
They're not going to get there. They're not even going to get to the conference.
Disrespect Nick Nurse.
I'll disrespect them. You know what? I'll even say this. They won't even make it out of the wild card.
Wild card? There's no wild card in the NBA.
Oh, first round. I'm sorry.
You mean the play?
Okay. Well, who they got to go through? Look at it. Boston. They have put so much on the shoulders, the fragile, brittle shoulders of Porzingis and Drew Holiday, who's like a couple years away from retirement. Like he's said that this like might be his last contract. Like he doesn't know how much longer he wants to play, and he's like had some injury issues last year.
They got the $300 million man of Jaylen Brown.
They got the same. They got two really well paid small forwards. Is their offense was their team.
The thing with those are they had Marcus Smart last year, and if they were having issues, Marcus Smart was there. Going back to the Drew Holiday being hurt last season, if it continues to this season, they won't have Drew Holiday there.
That's true.
And then you got the Bucks.
Giannis is better with one hand than
Lillard,
Embiid was ever.
That's it. Stop it.
Come on.
Giannis is like the most overhyped player of all time. He got carried to that finals.
By who?
By Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. Who's making the big shots? Chris Middleton was. Only thing Giannis was doing was making bogus free throws.
Can you tell me?
He's the only player on the planet that gets those calls.
Tell me when Embiid gets 50 points in a must-win game. He never will. Embiid comes up small. He needs a pill for it. He comes up small every time.
Him a choker. If James Harden got the same calls that Giannis gets, we would not call him a choker in the playoffs.
Embiid's so bad in the playoffs, they need to put a triple X rating on that because it gets nasty sometimes.
Embiid is just hurt in the playoffs. It's not that he's choking.
Hey, what's the best ability? What's the best ability? Availability. He's never available when the Sixers need him most.
Unchallenged. Let me tell you, if LeBron had never left the Cavs, Giannis would have no rings.
That's because LeBron's arguably the greatest player to ever touch the world. LeBron let. Well, you know everybody was saying about
stop Jokic.
Wait.
Couldn't stop Jamal.
How old is LeBron? We're talking about LeBron like he's 28. He's 38 years old.
Yeah, but he still would have stopped Giannis.
In his prime? Yes.
Yeah.
LeBron
at the current.
With who?
He would have beat this Bucks team.
Can I just say this?
Stick him on this year's Cavs. They're better than the Bucks.
Well, duh.
Yes, 100%.
The Cavs are better than the Sixers.
No.
Yes, they do.
Stop.
They're a better team.
Stop.
Dude,
The Nets are better than the Sixers.
Do you want to lose another bet?
I do.
Because the Sixers, look what they've got. Maxey is going to be a stud this year. I'm telling you. He will be a stud.
He'll be good.
Stud.
He has a coach that believes in him.
Joel Embiid right now is healthy. That's the question. Can he stay healthy?
That's not
Tobias Harris, the most hated man in Philadelphia.
I want a crumble cookie.
He's a very good player.
He is. But here's my problem.
He's a very good player.
Did you not see the report that came out? If the Sixers cannot fix the James Harden situation, it supposedly will fracture the relationship Joel Embiid has with the team, and he may want out.
No, Joel doesn't care about that. Here's what Joel cares about. Next offseason, 2 max slots. That's it. Whatever they do with that is going to determine if Embiid
and they'll give it to Tyrese and Maxey, and then they'll
No. They get 2 additional plus Maxey. That's why they're not signing Maxey now.
And they'll sign Al Horford. We've been through this.
On Max.
They're probably going to end up with PG and Kawhi.
Why would you want that? Then you'll have 3 of your star players who won't be there for the conference finals.
No, Kawhi's the best clutch player in the game.
Kawhi's
For
in the
26
retirement
games
home.
a year.
So as long as he's in the playoffs, rest him the full season. Nick Nurse knows how to do it.
All I'm saying is Kawhi is
arguably the most feared man in Philadelphia after he nailed the shot that took Philadelphia out of
Yeah,
playoffs.
triple bounce.
Yes, sir.
Triple doink.
They got magnets in the rims.
All right, Christian, go ahead and tell us that LeBron's going to win somehow.
LeBron ain't getting to the finals.
Okay.
Steph Curry.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm saying
The
it.
other AARP team.
The Warriors are making the finals.
Okay.
And it's not with the team they got now. They're going to make a deal at the deadline. I'll say it. I think Draymond's getting dealt too.
To who?
I think he's going to end up getting dealt to the Sixers.
For what?
Embiid.
For Harden? Oh. For Embiid.
I'm saying it now. I think Embiid will be a Warrior by.
What is that trade? What is your plan on that trade? Because Draymond is
Honestly.
Draymond is now one of the most overrated players in the league.
He has like zero value.
Draymond,
He's a team
Wiggins,
obliterator.
Thompson. They'll probably throw in Gary Payton and like a bunch of first-round picks.
Okay, that ain't happening.
What the Knicks allegedly offered is 1,000 times better.
Well,
than
they
that.
didn't allegedly offer that. They are thinking about it.
I don't think
That's a
that.
million times better.
But
than
the
what you
Sixers
just said.
wouldn't. I agree, but the Sixers won't trade him in Conference 1. And if he's saying, I don't even want to play, I think it's going to get to the point this season where Embiid's like, I'm out.
The problem with that trade for the Warriors, not even talking about the Sixers side, the Warriors side for that trade is they're stripping key parts of their team, Andrew Wiggins and their backup point guard Gary Payton. They're going to take them out. Draymond isn't really, they're going to take him out for Embiid.
Point guard's 1,000 years old.
I think
Yeah.
by that time, Chris Paul will be a 6-man. That's what they need to do. When the Warriors, actually, I can say this: even if they keep their current team, if they just move Chris Paul to the 6-man, it will help their team drastically.
They trade
Because
Gary
the-
Payton, he's going right back to the starting spot.
Warriors
Because-
are like a 5 or 6 seed.
I think they dish instead of Gary Payton, they dish Chris Paul.
No, I can see it. But so I think this,
Embiid traded during the season. Okay, we'll hold you to that.
if it happens, no, it probably won't be.
All right, you're gonna have to like save these predictions from that guy.
I will.
Like in
I'll
a
have to.
separate file. So we got to make sure we don't have to dig all the way through the video to find them.
Watch
I'll
the
have
Sixers.
to.
If the Sixers go like
Ridiculous.
73 and 9, I'm gonna be like, are you?
Sixers are gonna be good, man. I'm telling you, like they are going to be really good in the regular.
They're
season.
gonna be a 4 or 5 seed.
They're going to be really good. In the
No,
regular
they
season.
need now they have a coach that actually believes in the team and isn't just full of an ego.
And James Harden has to play, and he has to show up and play well because nobody wants him. So if he wants to get where he wants to go, he needs to show up to Philadelphia, like, and play. And so he's going to play well for a while, and they're going to end up getting Terrence Mann and those picks. Daryl Morey's going to get something for him. He's going to get what he wants.
But here's
Remember,
my-
he got James Harden for nothing.
Yeah, that's true. But here's
Like-
the thing: how many picks are the Sixers gonna be able to get for him?
If he shows up and plays, they'll get a few.
Dame Lillard only got 1 first-round pick in his entire package.
So apparently, what he's holding out for is that they want from the Clippers at least 1 first and Mann because they want to flip Mann for another first that they already have lined up. They can get somewhere, and then they can package that to get a proper star to run along with Embiid.
Okay, I haven't heard that, but actually, if they do that, the Sixers have a chance.
Supposedly, that's the reason why
Okay.
they're like stuck on like Terrence Mann is the guy because they want to turn around and flip him for another pick.
Like, I think the Warriors will be up there for the Western Conference. Like, let's go through the contenders of the Western Conference. I think the Thunder will be good. I'm not ready. I think the Thunder are going to end up being a lot like the Orioles this year, where they're going to be shocking to a lot of people. Great. They might even finish as the first seed, and then they'll lose in like the first or second round to a much more experienced Warriors team. Kind of like the Kings were last year. Everybody's forgetting about the Kings. The Kings are a very good team. They just need one more star to get them over the top. The Nuggets, the thing that I'm really wanting to see with the Nuggets is Jamal Murray's always had an injury problem. I want to see, is he going to be able to have another year injury free? It usually doesn't happen 2 years in a row, but we'll see. The reason I'm going with the Warriors, one, I trust Steve Kerr more than I do any other coach. Granted, he's had a lot more talent than every other coach, but he does win.
Yeah, he did really well with the NBA Olympic team.
Hey, but just like the Warriors, see what he's doing? He's building the Avengers in the Olympics. And comes LeBron, KD, Steph.
They're all coming around next time.
But so I got the Warriors in the West. That's the one I'm kind of like, okay, that could change because the West is brutal. The West is brutal.
Probably against the Bucks because you're in love with Giannis.
Yeah, that's kind of an insane take because there are a lot of
Celtics.
really good teams in the
Celtics.
West.
I think it's
Picking the Celtics?
yes. The reason is so the Celtics. I love everything they did with their team. They're really good. The thing that might hold them back is that coach is the only thing I'm like.
What about the fact that they have zero depth now? And they lost their heart.
But there's not a lot of teams in the East with depth. That's the reason I love them more than I like the Bucks. Everybody's like, what about the Bucks? They have Dame and Giannis. You know who's always been the number one Dame stopper in the NBA? Drew Holiday.
And he's right back in the East.
Yes. Now Kristaps, I'll be honest. I'm not even saying this because of Kristaps because I don't think Kristaps will be healthy.
Kristaps is there to be a 7-foot guy.
If I'm the Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis plays 40 games this year at max. He doesn't play more than that. Don't force him out there. I'd be playing him every third game. Don't let him play a lot of minutes.
Didn't they trade Robert Williams though?
Yeah, they traded him. They still have Al Horford. So
They traded Grant Williams. Suns, right?
Yep.
When they
Yep.
signed the trade.
I don't know.
And they traded Marcus Smart, which I think is the
That's
biggest
the biggest
problem.
That is
That
the
was
biggest
big
problem.
You know what the Suns need to do? This is just thinking of Marcus Smart. If the Suns signed Rajon Rondo, I would
be
have them
genius.
as my favorites to win the finals.
The
They need somebody to run the point that does not want to shoot.
Yep.
Rajon Rondo.
That's the reason I don't trust the Suns. And you gave me a weird look when I said they're the Nets of the West, or was it you that gave me a
It
weird
was,
It was me
him.
because everybody on that team is more talented.
It's
than
not
the
that.
Nets.
What was the problem with the Nets team? They had three what?
Three
shooters.
ball dominance.
Ball dominant
Yeah.
players. There's only one ball. What do they now have in Phoenix? 3 ball dominant players. Now, granted, out of the 3, KD again.
Yeah, KD can do it all.
He can play a little bit of off ball. Devin Booker's not a great off ball player. Bradley Beal for sure isn't an off ball player.
Nope.
Well, he needs to learn.
He does.
The thing-
They need a point guard that can facilitate. Chris Paul, if they could have found a way to keep, that's why I like Chris Paul on the team, because he could facilitate everything. Granted, he wasn't the scoring option he used to be, but he still played okay defense and was a great facilitator.
He had over about 10 assists almost every game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people take advantage of what a true classic point guard's for. You don't see a lot of it anymore.
I was just gonna say that that's the problem with a lot of the super teams, especially with like the Nets super team with
But everybody went away from it because of LeBron. Because everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you see, they don't have a point guard." LeBron was the point guard.
LeBron knew how to pass the ball and get it to the best scoring option. That's what the point. That's what the traditional point guard was: is get it to
Yes.
the best scoring
I
option.
mean, really, D Wade handled the ball.
And that's
Yeah.
also true.
And then when you got to the count, obviously Kyrie handled the ball.
Kyrie
So,
wasn't the
like-
main ball distributor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Kyrie
guys
Kyrie
can
was
handle the ball.
Kyrie was good to handle the ball until he got his like ego went through the roof.
the worst thing that ever happened to Kyrie was he left LeBron.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he realizes that.
Yeah, because I think he was trying to get back there last
I
year.
tell you, I think if the Lakers had like a better second option, like if the Lakers had Kyrie instead of D'Angelo Russell,
I'll make another prediction. D'Angelo Russell will not be a Laker by the end of the trade deadline.
I can see that.
I've seen some things that like the Sixers offered James Harden for D'Angelo Russell. Like I think I saw. I don't remember if that was even up because I think Russell's only got 1 year on this deal, right?
No, he signed a 3-year,
Okay.
30. He's
So
on a
maybe
cheap
something
deal.
more
He's
to
like
it.
a 3-year, $30
Okay.
million deal.
Because I know the Sixers are really careful about their cap space
Yes.
because they want to make sure that they're able to sign those two max guys.
The thing that's
Probably LeBron.
D'Lo's so frustrating though, because one play he'll do something that maybe a handful of point guards in the league can do, and you're like, whoa. Next play, he's pulling up in front of 4 people, and you're like, AD's open right there in the post, man. Pass the ball. And it just gets frustrating to watch him. But with that, we'll talk about the NBA later. We'll get into future topics. Me and Riley were talking about this last week. I've already said I think the future rivalry of the NBA is going to be Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren. I think that's going to be...
They're just the two towers of the league right now.
It's going to be a must-watch TV.
Last two towers worked really well.
It's a different league, though. I love how the league adjusts, though, because I love how it always comes full circle. Because 10 years ago, what was the league changing from? It was going from a traditionally big down low game to now shooting, and then it went more to a point guard league, smaller the better. And now, as we're getting more shooting coming in, it's starting to go back up in height. Centers, power forwards, and centers. Or I already said centers. And small forwards are
Yeah.
really starting to become.
But you know what else you can notice about the centers, and you notice this with Embiid, with Jokic, without Murray? You ain't winning with just a center.
No.
You're not winning with just a big guy.
Well, because the center can only do so much. They can't be that ball handler that you do need. You at least need. I wouldn't even say a mid. You need an
It's really hard to be a great ball handler when you're 7 foot tall.
exactly.
KD.
Because there's people who are 6'3", they're way lower to the ground. It's very easy for them to just snatch the ball
I
from
get
you.
unhappy every time Embiid starts to dribble.
He doesn't.
Look, he's gonna turn this thing over. For sure.
Can I make the argument he's the worst double team player of all time? Like whenever he gets double teamed, he panics.
Yeah, he does weird things sometimes.
Anyway,
All right.
that was a good NBA discussion. For our last topic, let's get into it. Who do y'all think's the best NFL team?
The field. The Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Chiefs. Easily the Chiefs. They've got the best quarterback. Their defense isn't great, but...
Whoa. Did you just say their defense isn't great?
It's not great, no.
It's the strength of their team right now.
It's okay. And, I guess the strength of their team is not the best quarterback of all time.
When was the last time the Chiefs gave up 20
one
points
of the best
per
tight
game?
ends.
I don't know.
They haven't given up more than 17
All I know
all
is they
season.
scored more points than the other team because their quarterback is better than the other teams.
Okay, they beat the Jets because of
Patrick Mahomes scored more points
The refs.
than.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wilson.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that the refs are really on the Chiefs' side this year. There's been a lot of calls.
What team do you root for?
lot of calls. Okay, listen.
I think the refs
No,
are just
ignoring this game, I'm talking. It's been happening for weeks. The Jets game, that pass interference flag was thrown seconds after. Like we're talking. Like he sat there and watched it, and once the interception happened, he said, "Oh, got to throw the flag now."
Okay,
it
what's the
keeps
flag?
happening week to week to week.
What's a flag you can call every play in a Philadelphia game that they never call?
pass interference.
Oh no. Lane
Oh, yeah.
Lane Johnson's false start.
Dude, you're talking like you were going to bring up this point. The thing is that for weeks, and it happened. The Jets game is where it started. The refs have been calling some ridiculous calls that are very blatant. Like it's just well, that's a questionable call.
Well, there's Taylor Swift. Of course they're gonna do the calls. They need to win championships.
Y'all keep hating, and I'll come. You can come watch them win the Super Bowl again at my house, because that's when they'll be playing. That last Sunday.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
The reason the Chiefs won't make the Super Bowl with the current roster they have, they need
They're
a.
going to end up with DeAndre Hopkins.
They need that. Then they'll make it.
They're going to have some.
Okay.
They're going to get a
okay.
receiver.
So you agree they need a receiver?
Yeah, but they're going to
Yeah,
get
Well, duh, their only receiver is Travis Kelce. He had 100 yards against Denver in one half.
Rashae Rice is getting better every week.
Okay.
I'm
So,
not saying he's going to be. Like
but they need that.
number
No,
one,
they need
but-
another option outside of Kelsey because it is showing.
Yeah.
So if they do get the op, it's over.
They should get D Hop.
They should.
And I would like that for D Hop. Let him get to a good winning spot.
I would. I don't know why he didn't go there in the first place.
Well, apparently they didn't want him.
Well, the Bills.
I think they didn't want to pay him.
They didn't want to pay him all that money because he was already getting it all from Arizona.
And so the Titans might as well trade him over to the Chiefs, trade my boy Derrick Henry over to the Rams, who now have an opening at running back. Commanders all send Chase Young over and get the whole band
This
together.
guy's interesting. He's interesting.
I'm wheeling it.
Matthew
F
Stafford.
them picks. Matthew Stafford's just hurt, honestly. Like,
You give us Matthew Stafford, you can go sign Carson Wentz.
okay.
Go
now we're talking.
8-9, miss the playoffs, and we're good here. All right, Riley.
I don't know, man. I really don't know who I would consider the best team in the league.
Go ahead. Say if you say them stinking birds.
I mean, nobody's really separating themselves. Is the real.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And the only team, and I'm only going to say it because I think that they have the best record in the league right now, is I think the Eagles have to be the best team in the NFL right now.
They're tied with the Chiefs.
That's what I thought. And then the Chiefs would be the only other team that I would ever consider. But I'm only saying the Eagles because their run defense is the number one in the league. They have the best receiving core. They have a top 10 running back. They have a top, I would say 5 tight end, but I would also say top 10. And the only difference is their pass defense, like their cornerbacks, their defensive backs aren't really great, but they just went out and got Kevin Byard, which was going to help the run defense even more and the pass defense. So, I mean, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles right now. I hate doing it.
If Jalen Hurts stops turning the ball over.
Okay,
Yeah, it's true.
can we
Very
get into
true.
that discussion
Very true.
Because I'm tired. Eagles Twitter the other night was actually getting on my nerves because all I kept seeing, Jalen Hurts is turning into Carson Wentz. These turnovers are atrocious. These both can attest. I was the biggest Carson Wentz supporter there was.
This is 3 times today.
Guess what?
For the counter.
Jalen Hurts is better than Carson Wentz was in his career. Jalen Hurts is already a better overall Eagles QB than Carson Wentz was. Carson Wentz is not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts turns the ball over, and Jalen Hurts still wins the game. Carson Wentz turns ball over, Carson Wentz curls up into ball, and Carson Wentz is scared rest of the game.
Yeah, this Eagles team is a lot more talented than those, though. Also.
He had the same offensive line.
Carson Wentz had Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
He never played with Riley Cooper.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He played for a couple games, and then Riley Cooper got outed for being a racist.
The Eagles now
2015 was Cooper's last year.
Wasn't I thought he played
the
2016 too?
Eagles have 2 receivers now that are better than anybody once played with.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And
And they've still got guys.
okay. 2017 Alshon Jeffrey was pretty elite.
No.
14 touchdowns?
He was just a huge dude.
No,
You can say the same thing about Brown.
Yeah, but Brown could run. Like, Brown's a physical specimen.
Hey, Carson Wentz had Deshaun Jackson for 3 games.
Alshon Jeffrey was, like, out of the league.
he also had the only good version of Zach Ertz ever. So
Only good for Carson Wentz made Zach Ertz. Let's not get into this.
that's when he had the only good version. Once he left Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz is a nobody.
But I also get mad because people were like Carson Wentz was a bust the whole time. I'm like, he had 4 good years. He got a concussion. So
Really, I think his problem was the knee injury and then the concussion and back injury the year
ended
after.
it all. The
Yeah.
concussion was what finished him. Anyway, I can both see where your points are valid. I will say both teams have been very phenomenal. Caleb's going to hate who I say is the best team in football because he hates the quarterback. I might even make the argument he hates him more than Justin Herbert. This team just won 38-6 versus the Detroit team that was 5-1. Of course, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. What? How are you saying they're the best team in football? I'll tell you why. They're the best team since October 1st. Defense has only allowed 11 points per game. They're putting up numbers on offense. Lamar Jackson, I didn't think he could become a pocket passer. This season, he's the number 2 rated pocket passer to one Patrick Mahomes, who has been phenomenal. The reason I will say I'm impressed with the Ravens, though, is they're beating you multiple ways, and the rumor is they're getting ready to get Derrick Henry. When they get Derrick Henry, and I'm already saying when because it's going to be dangerous, they're still running the ball at an elite clip, but what's making them dangerous, Lamar's not running the ball in designed runs as much. Now he's more of the scramble drill, but he's no longer, when he's not seeing his first read, he's no longer running just to run. Now he's running to still pass the ball downfield. It's dangerous. That Pittsburgh game was a bad game, but when you go back and look at it, his receivers dropped a lot of balls. There was one ball that was on Lamar's fault, though. That was the deep ball to, was it Odell or was it Flowers where Flowers fell down backwards? And they were like, what a bad job by Flowers, but it was really a bad throw by Lamar.
Yeah, I think
that was his bad mistake of the. But right now, Lamar's completing 70% of his passes. That's an elite clip. 70 QBR. That's really, really good. He's running the ball still good, but he's not running it as much. He's not taking as many brutal hits. The Ravens are only allowing about 2 sacks a game right now on him, which is elite level talent. If they play like they have in October, their defense is good like it was at the end of last year after they got Roquan Smith. They're a really good team. I think the AFC is going to end up coming down to Baltimore and Kansas City. Buffalo, I was high on them before we had this little hiatus. 3 straight weeks of just pure ugh.
Yeah, but I can see Buffalo coming out when they play Baltimore and just beating the brakes off of them. You know, Buffalo's just that team that, you don't know what you're going to see. And I think the same thing out of those Detroit Lions. I know they've been really good this year, and they did beat the Chiefs. They're the only teams that have done it so far.
Let's not forget
they're still the Lions.
But let's not forget that Kansas City game. Kansas City didn't have Chris Jones, didn't have Travis Kelce.
Right.
I will say what was shocking, that the Lions usually have a lot more fight. It was weird. The Ravens just manhandled them. And that's not something you're usually seeing out of a Dan Campbell team.
And bouncing off of that point, I want to, obviously it's very impressive, Lamar's stats and how they're, the Ravens are looking good, but also if the Lions weren't the Lions, then is it really an accomplishment to beat the 5-1 Lions?
No, the Lions were playing a good game early in that game. The Ravens were just beating them. They were just beating them. The Ravens are a good team. I think right now they're the best team in football just because they're playing the most complete football, because their offense is playing at a high level, but their defense is probably ahead of them. If the Jets had an offense, if only Aaron Rodgers.
And week 14, Aaron Rodgers coming back.
If only he didn't get hurt, because I would have loved to see. But hey, Zach Wilson, he's looking good.
Maybe.
But you know who's going to be in this discussion next week? Daniel Jones and the Nico. I'm joking, guys.
My thing, if they don't get Derrick Henry, I think that the Ravens are just going to be a placeholder team for when the Bengals decide that they actually want to play the game of football, and then they're just going to show up and take the AFC North.
Here's my thing with Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry, and honestly, I want the Rams to get Derrick Henry. But, how much of a difference is Derrick Henry going to make over Gus Edwards, who's averaged 5 yards a carry his whole career?
So
he's not going to make a ton of difference. He does not move the needle for me.
The reason it would help
the Ravens
is the reason Gus Edwards gets 5 yards a carry, though. Let's be honest. They don't put 8 guys in a box, which means when Lamar's going spread, that's the difference right now between the new offense and what Greg Roman was doing. When Roman was the coordinator, he liked everything tight and condensed, which is why Lamar's passing didn't always look the greatest, because there wasn't a lot of spacing on the field. Spacing helps a lot, especially when you're a quarterback. This year they've spreaded everything out, and you can see it's really opening things up for Lamar. You put Derrick Henry in that box, you better put 8. Because if you don't put 8 in the box and you leave just 4, the Ravens have arguably a top 5 offensive line in football. It's a really good. That's why when people are like, Lamar has no help, I'm like, shut up. The dude has loads of talent around him. But
and they've drafted
very well
all kinds of receivers in the first round.
Yeah,
Bateman struggles with. I'll tell you what, Aguilar struggled with drops one ball, but right now it seems like every week he's catching a touchdown. I don't know what's Odell slowly.
Because the dude gets open.
Who?
He's always gotten open. Aguilar. That's how he was dropping balls in Philly, because he was always open. So,
listen,
he's got half of it there.
we had one good year out of Alshon Jeffrey in Philly, and that was a Super Bowl year. Or not Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar.
Hey, you got 2 good years out of Aguilar.
I'll give you that one.
17 and 19, he was really.
Yep.
19, he had struggled with the drops. Before he got hurt in 19, he had like 800 yards. Like,
Yeah.
He had the one bad game versus Atlanta with the drop, but outside of that, he was pretty good. Before we end this podcast, I said I would address the Commanders. I think it's time I admit I was wrong. Not about Sam Howell. I still believe in Sam
I
Howell.
was about to say.
Eric Bieniemy, you know you're going against the blitz scheme.
This feels racist.
Wink. It feels it. Wink Martindale clearly is the most aggressive defensive coordinator in football. You have a quarterback that's been sacked 40 times this year. You know what the game plan should be? Quick game. Run the ball. You know who has the worst run-pass ratio in the NFL right now? The Commanders. We're throwing the ball in 67% of the time. And we're not even in trailing the ball game that much. We're actually playing with a lead or at least tied most of the time. And we're throwing the ball more when we have a lead. What kind of sense does this make? I was told he was a running back coach. I thought running backs like to run the ball. He won't run it. He won't run screens. He won't throw the short game. And you're like, well, maybe Howell's not throwing it. It's not getting called. Every single ball, it's going 4 verts. I've seen Madden playbooks with more creativity than Eric Bieniemy. Like, I was told when Scott Turner was fired, I was like, yes, we're finally going to get a coordinator in here that's going to make adjustments. It took him to the 4th quarter to finally throw Terry McLaurin the ball. Terry McLaurin had 6 catches for 90 yards in the 4th quarter. He was frying Dante Banks. Giants fans are like, Banks is a beast. He shuts down McLaurin. I'm like, he ain't going to shut him down. McLaurin will roast him. And guess what happened once they started throwing McLaurin the ball? He roasted him. When you finally give Sam Howell a little bit of time, what happens? They start moving up the field.
Yeah, that's the problem with everything, that they can't give him any time.
Well,
Why aren't they running the ball? Because the offensive line stinks.
Can I ask you a question? When Howell has time, how's he look?
Good, but
Yeah, he doesn't look that
it's
bad.
hard to evaluate anything when there's no
But
offensive
40 sacks isn't just on the offensive line. It's just not on the quarterback. If you're an offensive coordinator and you know your offensive line struggles, why are we doing a bunch of 5-man protections? That makes no sense. And we have better offensive linemen on the bench. How do I know? Charles Leno, our left tackle, missed last week versus Atlanta. Our left tackle came in and played. The backup, Cornelius Lucas. He was the highest graded left tackle in football. He looked phenomenal, and our offensive line played better. Why not keep him in the game or put him in right tackle over Andrew Wiley from the Chiefs? What Eric Bieniemy is doing is mind-boggling, and I'm just glad to say it. Eric Bieniemy, Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, or Ronald Rivera, pack your bags. Get the flip out of Washington, D.C. I get my team back next year. We're going to be changing this name soon, and we will be running the NFC East in 3 years. 4 years. Just give me some time to build a team up. I want Ben Johnson from the Lions, though. Can I please get that guy as my head coach? Please, just an offensive-minded guy.
Weren't you so excited when Bieniemy came in? This was your turnaround
You
year.
wanted Bieniemy to be the head coach.
I do remember that.
I did. Because you got to think, though, when he came in and I'm hearing, oh, yeah, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, and everybody wasn't. I'm like, this guy's just been he's been blackmailed because of his race. They haven't won because he's a black guy. I'm like, of course, this has to be the reason. And then I'm watching this dude call plays. I'm like, Andy Reid made you. He covered you up. What's going on here? Where's the creativity? I'm like, when he speaks in press conferences, I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's a coordinator.
Could it be that the players aren't as good as you, the fan, thinks they are?
True. That could also be very.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
True.
Like,
Whoa. I don't care who you are. The scheme can make players. The Rams in 2016, how were they in offense?
2016, is that McVay's first year?
The year before McVay, how were
The
they?
year before McVay, they were terrible.
And then McVay came in. He did change up a little bit of things, but not a lot. How'd they look?
It was completely different. They also added Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods.
The Cooper Cup was out in 2018.
Changed the whole thing.
18 was Cooper Cup. 17 was just Woods.
So, which year are you talking about?
McVay's first year. 17.
I don't have a photographic memory.
So you guys pretty
They
much.
traded for Sammy Watkins
But
that
the-
year, right?
That was it, but no, 2018 was when they traded for Watkins.
Sometimes I wonder, like, if he actually knows these things or if he's just saying them confidently.
Probably.
Like,
We're gonna listen.
regardless, like, the personnel changed big time too. They got Andrew Whitworth. That was the big thing. Andrew Whitworth came and it all changed.
Check when Cooper Kupp was drafted.
Right.
That was the big thing. Andrew Whitworth came when McVay came.
Kupp struggled with injuries his rookie year. So he wasn't there the first 8 weeks of his rookie year.
But Andrew Whitworth came when McVay came.
But what
that
did
changed it all?
did McVay not change up the scheme? Did the scheme not help? Because
Yeah.
what was
What
McVay's?
else? Top was one of the best left tackles in football.
But before McVay, but what did McVay? Because McVay don't even do this now. What McVay did when he first came in, what did he add a lot of?
The jet sweeps.
Motions. Got his players open quickly, and they didn't even have to be that good. They just had to run to a certain spot. Terry McLaurin's a good receiver. I don't care what you guys say. He's a good receiver.
So I'm not saying Terry McLaurin's not a
Jahan
good receiver.
Dotson has talent to be a good receiver, but
So did Brian Quick.
here's the thing. But ready, here's my question: how can you say these guys don't have talent? The reason I'm mad with Eric Bieniemy, he's running a tight end centric scheme.
I'm not sticking with those guys because the receivers impress me. Curtis Samuel also impresses me.
He's
He's a
a-
name you didn't throw out there. But the thing that I'm saying is Sam Howell and a good chunk of that defense doesn't seem to be as good as everybody says they are.
I told you the defense was going to be good. I didn't think they'd be this bad, but they were good on Sunday. 7 points versus the Giants isn't just on the team.
That's true. We're talking about the Giants here.
Like
but-
and I'll say this: the Giants have had a top 5 defense since the beginning of October. They've been really good on defense. Offensively, not great, and the Giants have always had the Commanders' number. I'm really going to go to a Giants Commanders game. We're going to lose while I'm watching. It's going to be fun. Anyway, but Eric Bieniemy, dude, and you want to say Sam Howell? You know what? When was the last time we've watched a Kyle Shanahan system and went, "Oh, that quarterback stinks"?
We're about to find out this weekend when Darnold's in.
Darnold, you know what? I'll say Darnold's going to go for 3 touchdowns, guarantee. He's going to look good, and I understand my
Is
Debo playing?
Is McCaffrey still hurt and Debo still hurt?
McCaffrey played Monday night.
Oh, he did?
He's the reason I had a
Yeah,
fantasy
just didn't
win.
notice.
Oh, 2 touchdowns. My fantasy score.
Yeah, but he wasn't running wild.
Yeah, I don't think he. Yeah.
Well, the reason that Brian Flores has been, I told you guys in the offseason, Brian Flores was a big pickup for the Vikings, and
Yeah, the 1-5 record.
Yeah, and they have one of the worst defenses in the league.
3-4.
They still have one of the worst defenses in the league.
No,
Good.
no. Look at the stats.
I'm telling you where it's ranked. I'm not telling you the stats. Where it's ranked.
We're ranked. Look where it's ranked.
On service.
Right, so last year they were the 32nd ranked defense. They were the worst defense.
The only team that I'll say is a worse defense is the Broncos. I'll say the Broncos have a worse defense than the Vikings.
So I thought Brian Flores was the best defense coordinator pickup in the league. I was wrong because you know who's number 1? Jim Schwartz. What he has now, granted, the Browns defense didn't look great on Sunday, but outside of that, all season they've looked really good. And you know, I would be, if we're gonna bring up Week 7, and you already touched on the refs, but the refs did some. There were 2 games they messed up horribly. Number 1 was that Browns-Colts game. The Colts should have won the game, but they made that egregious call in the red zone. And then it was the Rams game. Mm-hmm. Kenny Pickett was short by.
He was short by like 2 yards, like 3
Not
yards.
to mention the bogus PI they called before that. Like, that was a horribly thrown ball that the receiver tried to run through the DB, and they called a PI on him.
You know, it's never going to happen. But can I just say, I really hope one year they finally say, you know, it shouldn't be a pass interference if the defensive back doesn't get his head turned. Like, how's it his fault the quarterback underthrew the thing? Quarterback's being paid $100 million. Throw the ball where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week's episode, I would say we do our Halloween movie episode next week, but by the time we do our videos next week, it's going to be November 1.
Yeah. We got to talk about Thanksgiving games.
One of these episodes next couple weeks, guys, sports will not be on the menu. We're going to get into a movie discussion. It will happen. Promise.
It is still technically, like, spooky season.
Spooky
so
season.
We could talk, like, horror movies.
You know, we might, we will probably link it all together. Our top 5 fall movies.
Okay.
There we go. That's how. So like spooky, but Thanksgiving. Even I've never heard of a Thanksgiving movie. Have you guys ever?
Yeah, that new horror movie coming out.
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's.
Didn't Charlie Brown have a Thanksgiving movie?
Yeah, but that's not a horror movie.
Oh, I thought we were just doing fall movies.
He did, yeah.
Halloween Town.
Yeah.
Those are probably gonna be Christian's full list. Halloween Town High, Return to Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus 2.
I hate Hocus Pocus. Anyway,
All right.
anything else you guys like to add?
Go Rams.
Well, please subscribe, And Commanders, let's lose. Eagles, please beat us so Ron Rivera gets fired. I'm begging you. I'm not even watching the game.
I'll
be in
never-
a corner.
I'll
I'll-
never-
For Caleb.
Never in my life will I be confident in the Eagles.
Are you Caleb? Because we'll tank for you. I don't want Caleb Williams.
Tank for Caleb.
I don't want no quarterback that paints his fingernails.
I'm t-
Whoa, that is really homophobic. It's 2023.
I don't even want Dwight Howard on the Lakers no more. I might change my team after he played for him.
It's 2023.
Oh my goodness.
This
Anyway,
one's on you.
anyway,
Although to be fair, Dwight Howard's situation's a little weird.
Anyway,
Go.
I'll
go.
say it again.
until next time.
To be continued.